Good evening and welcome to something. So in the past I have played Dwarf Fortress several times, no, once on this stream, twice, we had two fortresses, didn't we? The first one was Nose Tools and the second one was something else. Rhythm Gates, yes. Since that happened, there has been a new Dwarf Fortress, indeed essentially two new Dwarf Fortresses. The incredibly successful swanky graphical version on Steam and the slightly less swanky version, that free version that's been released as a successor to the previous Dwarf Fortress, that involves rather less swanky graphics and rather more code page 437 character cell displays. And the latter took a while to turn up on Linux, but it is now available for Linux. And so I have it. And I've been trying to wrangle its technical side to make streaming it possible. And I've kind of got it, but it's stuck in 1080p, or at least I can't get it to go in 720p with my usual font size. So there might be a bit of... It might be a bit harder to read than it used to be, but maybe everyone's got bigger monitors since then. What I haven't done is tried playing it at all. So I have almost no idea how it's going to work. And I'm just bouncing around my IRC setup so that I can at least have that on a different screen. And then, well, we'll try it. So this might involve a certain amount of bouncing back and forth looking at the wiki. Or it might not, maybe, oh, no, excuse me, there is a certain amount of cable topology here, as the IRC laptop has a mains lead and the other laptop has a mains lead and a microphone lead and a video lead. Right, Now I have everything in the right place, including a mug of tea. Okay, somewhat in the right place. So let's go back to my Dwarf Fortress window, which you can see and which has the usual buttons. Well, no, not the usual buttons. It has a menu. It has a menu that I can't drive with the keyboard. Oh, yes. Can you see my mouse pointer? I think I've got mouse pointers turned on. Let's find the setting for that and just check. Window capture, show cursor. Okay, so if it's going to work, it'll be working. Yes, it looks, the first discovery is that this Dwarf Fortress appears to be a bit more mousy than the previous one. I have poked the settings briefly, but the major change is, of course, this is using Bedstead. I think it's using Bedstead's mosaic graphics, albeit only the full block and empty block. So that might not be a change since the last. But that means it's using characters that aren't in code page 437, doesn't it? That's quite interesting. So I suspect what we want to do is to click on Create New World and create a world. Actually helpful messages. Also the ludicrous FPS meter that says we're running at 24,000 frames per second at the moment. I expect that to slow down a bit once we actually start playing. Oh, 50. Maybe that's a better number.
Do you just give them with a random name, or do you get to choose a name from some selection? Or?
What, for the Fortress?
Those tools.
You can choose a name from by essentially telling the name generator which of its options to choose in each position. So, welcome to Dwarf Fortress. Prepare to guide your stout charges to fortune in a world fraught with many perils. You'll begin by creating your world and watching the region's history unfold. Once this process is complete, you can prepare a group and send them out to seek wealth deep in the mountains, or anywhere else. As you dig deeper, more citizens take up residence in your outpost. Your doings will attract attention, both wanted and unwanted. Also, your fortress will get slower and slower and slower. Deal with the challenges as they arise, and you might one day find that your humble settlement has grown to become a mountain home, the centre of your civilization. Okay. So I think that not very visibly on my display, maybe I need to turn the brightness down a bit. It's currently got highlighted medium, 100 years, medium, 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 mineral occurrence everywhere. So I wonder if it's worth turning things down a little so that we get our world built a bit faster, or do we just hit create world and see how long it takes and then discover it's going to take like half an hour to build me a world? Actually, let's look at the quick start page on the wiki and see what that tells me to do, which you can't see. Well, you could, but no, not on my screen. World gen, first create a world. These suggested won't take long. Medium, 100, medium, medium, low beasts, very low savagery. No, that's just to make it easy. That's not to make it easy for the world generator. Okay, so they suggest that the defaults won't take too long. Let's assume that won't take too long is savagery is how scary the creatures are. So it's like how much your landscape tends towards tigers rather than kittens. So that's why they suggest making those low for your first game. But this isn't my first game of Dwarf Fortress. This is just my first game of Dwarf Fortress version 50. Which incidentally is Dwarf Fortress following the same approach that many pieces of software have taken of going, sod it, we'll just chop off the 0 point at the start of our version numbers. The last version I played was like 0.43. And,
apart from admittedly me, but I mean, Solaris threw off the 2.
Yes.
Just a normal thing.
So yes, this is Dwarf Fortress version 50, but that's like only that's essentially the next version after Dwarf Fortress 0.43. Okay, well let's just try.
The version number will get ahead of frames per
Yes. I mean, I can run it faster, but it seems kind of pointless. Right, well, let's bonk create world and see what happens. What else do you do to a button?
Press it.
Maybe.
Well, possibly not with walls.
Right, we are creating Anuasil, the wondrous plain.
Meow.
Probably not that kind of plain. Right, it's telling us some things that have happened. Someone's constructed Fence Peak the Hideous. Fence Peaked for the Hideous, sorry. The braided evils of the hairy monster. Oh no, someone routed the braided evils of the hairy monster. The Harmonious Council created something. There's a dragon called Ertal Wealthglows the Torrid Gem. Okay, well that's a damn sight faster than World Gen in the old version. So now, oh, you can mouse over things. How exciting!
Yeah, what the hell's that?
So here's our world map, admittedly hidden by a load of frass. So we can see that there's a place called the Ever-Seeing Turquoise of Autumn, whose queen is Ast Glazed Shot, for instance. Yes, it still has the glorious name generations, at least. And so we can see roughly what the world is like. So we've got a load of dwarven mountain halls over in these mountains. And we've got some little isolated islands out there. And some haunted woodlands.
Evil brain.
Probably. Malice Scraps. Jackal's Welser. Seduce Ripe.
Sizzle murdered.
Probably. So, I think we can probably now want to click play now.
Play now.
Thank you. When finished, choose play now. The game will save the world and ask for a game type. Choose Fortress. Right, so now it saves everything again. Critter Snacks. I think that, so the lines, I think, are roads, Claire. So we'll be back to see that map shortly, I expect. Right, for Adventurer mode coming soon. They haven't quite ported everything to the new version yet. So it simulates 2 weeks of game at normal speed. Or of the passage of time at normal speed. I think I don't want the tutorial because I don't want a like easy forested mineral rich region. I want to choose something at least somewhat interesting. I think. I mean, the whole world is fairly mineral rich. So I think I'm going to choose skip tutorial. And it will be a very short game indeed if you don't know how to deal with them. I'm quite okay with a very short game indeed. If this game turns out to be finished in about 2 hours, that will be fine. After you embark, help is available by pressing the help button in the top right corner, including all of the tutorials. Right, well that might be helpful, as it were. So I click the map to zoom in and choose my embark location. To centre, hold and drag using the middle mouse button. That's going to require 2 hands. Wow, it's so much more polished than the old one. I think part of what they did was employ a programmer to polish it. So yes, technically, Dizzy, this is our disembark location. As in, it's where we embark on our adventure, but where we disembark from our wagon. So, like, one approach is we go for an island where no one can reach us. That would be dull. We can go for somewhere near some goblins. We could go for somewhere icy or somewhere hot or somewhere mountainous. Anyone has, like, feelings about where we should go? Seems like it's basically impossible to avoid iron ore in this world. I think light aquifers are not scary. The old school aquifers are heavy aquifers. We haven't yet done I haven't yet done a coastal one on stream, have I? Not anywhere hot. It's been too hot this summer, right? Somewhere vaguely near goblins, somewhere near the coast. Right, so I think the major goblin sites are here in no, that's not goblins, that's just there's a sinister dwarven a dwarven tower in a sinister forest. So there's some goblin pits there in a temperate area with like shrubland and savanna. That's getting warm down here. I'm more inclined to go for the more northerly goblin batch here. Oh, what's that bit there? Okay, that's some terrifying freezing environment. Maybe that's a bit too excitable. I can't remember if kind of want somewhere savage if possible. Okay, so calm, untamed. If I press plus, it goes untamed wilds, wilderness, calm. Right, I'm going to choose to say that while these buttons are to assume that those three, in addition to NA, alongside NA, those three are arranged in a sensible order, and therefore that untamed wilds is the wildest. So, are there any untamed wilds around here? I mean, yes, okay, I could have actually used the searching thing. Okay, so it's calm in that direction. We get wilderness up here. Oh, we get some untamed wilds there. Let's have a look around here. So there's some coastal temperate woodland here. So if I click on the map, right, then that zooms me in. And we can see in slightly more detail. There's the dark goblin pits. There's a haunted forest. And then we have some untamed wilds, badlands here. And then we get into wilderness. So I think somewhere around this bay might be quite nice. So then we click embark to place our fortress. So we have other buttons here. We can show elevation, which says that bay looks weird. Is this really 0 and then a vicious cliff up to 9? Okay, now you're showing me the gradient, including of the seabed, I think. Okay, I think maybe that's not a sudden cliff. I think 0 and 9 are actually adjacent elevations. But I'm not sure. So if I click here, okay, so I think I have to click embark in order to do the next step. Okay, well let's put that bay in the centre of our thing and see what happens if I click embark. All right, now click on the map to embark. 4x4 is the recommended size. That's quite big, but that's fine. So sure, let's go for this point, this area here, which spans the Badlands and the Savannah, or do we go up to this bay and Badlands and Shrublands? Or even something ludicrous like spanning the mouth of that bay. Rivers, decent size, at least in, I mean, again, I don't know precisely what this version is like, but decent size, proper rivers, you can't just walk across. You need to build bridges or tunnel under them or something like that. All right, our ocean is untamed anyway. It looks like.
What does that mean?
That's the most vicious kinds of animals, the most vicious kinds of normal animals. So you don't get. So it doesn't mean you get. I don't think it mostly means you get like monsters, but you will get like orcas probably.
Like your standard issue giant spindly killifish,
Yes.
etc., that are perfectly normal deep sea creatures, but not the kraken wicks.
Yes.
Giant squid, yes, kraken no.
Probably. I think the game does. You might get kraken, but yeah, I mean it's. I can't remember precisely. But you don't get like. You need evil in order to get zombies and such like.
Right.
And you need good to get things like unicorns. So I kind of want to go for the mouth of both of these rivers. I think I want to go there.
What possibly go wrong? Well,
So we get some sea, we get some Badlands, we get some of that savannah, we get 2 rivers. We have shallow clay, very deep soil, light aquifer, every metal, but as far as I can see, everywhere has metal. The goblins are only half a day away. And we see what happens. You have selected an area with salt water. It might be very difficult to survive here. You have selected an area with a light aquifer, which at least might mean we can get water. Water might need to be pumped out. You have selected a savage area. The wildlife might be very dangerous here. Right, that sounds like a good set of warnings. Confirm. Right. Let's not turn things up any further. Let's leave things at enemies normal, economy normal. Do we prepare carefully? Does the wiki say? You should prepare carefully. Choosing a good site. Yeah, right. I've already chosen a bad site. Example in the tutorial: turn the enemies to off. No, shan't. Selecting play now will give you a default set of equipment that's reasonably safe. Right, let's do that. Let's not faff around choosing the right set. Bring a desalination plant. Intriguingly, dwarven... Oh, maybe we should have enough... No, we can build pumps. Dwarven pumps can be used for desalination. No one quite understands how. I think the best idea is there's some kind of vacuum distillation going on. They're like mad turbo pumps. Play now. So now it's rendering us the detailed map of this area. Right, well this is all an entirely new UI to the one I'm used to.
Good.
A dwarven outpost. I mean, not actually. The map itself looks very familiar. You have arrived. After a journey from the mountain homes into the forbidding wilderness beyond, your harsh trek has finally ended. Your party of 7 is to make an outpost for the glory of all Vabok Okang. There are almost no supplies left, but with stout labour comes sustenance, whether by bolt, plough or hook. What? Sorry, the last version was whether by bolt, hook or plough. Provide for your dwarves. You're expecting a supply caravan just before winter entombs you, but it is spring now. Enough time to delve secure loggings ere the cougars get hungry. A new chapter of dwarven history begins here at this place, Keskalokil, Shoot Test. Well, that's an odd name. What a dull name. Strike the earth. Right, so I'm not going to click OK, just in case it unpauses me and I have to find the pause button quickly. So that appears to be an alerts box. That tells me a little bit about my place. There's my whether we're running out of food yet section. That's presumably that help button we previously mentioned. Right, recenter on the surface, recenter at the deepest location. Hotkeys, we're used to hotkeys, yes. Whether we display water, you don't have to edit the configuration file to get water depth displayed. Allegedly. Maybe I have to actually press OK for any of these buttons to work. That's clearly a depth gauge of some sort. Open the squad sidebar. Melting, dumping, yes. So there's like actual things in the UI to tell me what I do, what I can do. But all of these things are kind of familiar. Nothing here that makes me go, oh my gods, I don't understand that. And as I mouse over things, we have basically bare earth on this side and a river. So do we drag with the middle button like before? Let's click OK. And then see if time seems to start passing immediately. Right, I've pressed space and now we've paused. Good. Pink Beast, yes, feel free to point anyone you like at this stream. It is public. Right, so things I do not know. How do we scroll this around? I mean, indeed, are any of the keys do... I haven't tested whether I can type anything into this UI yet, have I? Like, it might turn out that all of the keyboard is not working. That would be fun. Do not unpause. Yes, immediately hit space to pause the game. That says I should be able to look around with WASD. Oh, right, yes, I can. So here we have a map that shows... Yes, I paused it with... Yes, you're right, I paused it with space and that demonstrates I've got a working keyboard. The map seems to be a bit generous in how wide it thinks the rivers are. This map up here shows this narrow isthmus, which is actually, I think, that gap between those ponds and that river. I'm not sure. Is there another river over here? No, not that I can see.
What's this new fortress called?
Shoot Test.
Shoot Test?
Yes. Right, so it's not a very big area we've got, but we have all these badlands up here. We've got what looks like a kind of delta at the end of this river, though several of the distributaries just evaporate in the badlands. Oh, I found the no, there. Excuse me, I've pressed several keys I shouldn't have pressed. Right, return to game, that one. I don't want the squads menu. Let's try pressing that button. Yes, right. And then I found the go up in that folds up the squad sidebar. Excellent, right. But now I found the thing to go up through space, but not the thing to go down. Look, up and down a few Z levels with the scroll wheel. Ooh. There! Okay, that's quite exciting. Right, there we are. Now, I reckon those are... this is a more or less a delta. Oh, there's some driftwood on the shore. So yes, we have... The shore appears to be mostly bare shale, which is like familiar to me, how the coast around where I grew up was. There's another bit of a delta here on this. There's a pond there, stagnant water in there, salt water there, fresh water in the rivers. So there really is no shortage of fresh water. We can just pump it out of the rivers if we have to. This is 1Z level below ground. So there's at least one saltwater rock pool, or not rock pool there. I'm used to being able to press greater than and less than to go up and down. You tell us the keys for going up and down. So I did find one of them, which was E went up, but Q didn't go down. Maybe R goes down. No, maybe C goes down. Yes, right. E and C go up and down. So we've got trees as well, hazel, willow, and so forth in the southern area. Oops, wrong button. But there's nothing, no trees in the Badlands next door. Right. Okay. Where have my dwarves got to? There they are. So we have a stone crafter and a planter and a fisher dwarf and a miner and a mason and a woodworker and a goat and a donkey and a couple of dogs and a horse and our expedition leader. Why are all of my dwarves listed under there, I wonder? What do we have here then? Open the citizen information menu. You, yes. So we can see what all of our dwarves are currently doing. We can see how they're feeling. So our fisher dwarf has already decided to go fishing. We're on the coast, so this is not entirely unreasonable. Our miner and our woodworker are probably finding themselves respectively a pick and an axe. Indeed, yes. So assigned to a work detail, we have someone who's presumably set to mine, someone who will cut down trees if there are trees, someone who will go fishing if there is fishing to be done. And we have a bunch of livestock. So it looks like we do have a couple of cats around as well somewhere. You no longer get the message saying no one has died yet, but the year is yet young. And then we have a tab of tasks. Yes, so that's all plausible. Places. Labour. Right, understanding that is going to take a bit of time. But again, I think this is mostly what we've got here is a new user interface to at least a similar game to the one I'm used to.
I'm loving this careful ASCII art rendition of familiar GUI concepts like tab bars and sidebars. And
Yes. Right, yes. Let's not worry about justice just yet. Right, I'm going to quickly glance at the... So... labour's how you control things. So we probably want to tell our fisher dwarf not to go fishing. So I can select that and say nobody does this. Right. So that should then stop our fisher dwarf fishing right now. Which is probably for the best. Right, so what we probably want to do, at least traditionally, is to build an entrance into our wagon, into our fort, near our wagon. Okay, how do we close the citizen information menu? Do I just, well, pressing escape apparently works. It doesn't really matter. There's no serious topography here anyway. It's not like anywhere's haunted. We probably want that river between us and the goblins, though we might have to do something to improve matters around the distributaries there. Just wondering if we put, no, let's not put the entrance too close to the edge of the map. Let's put it in the Badlands so that felling trees doesn't affect our fortress, at least initially. So how do I designate for channeling? M or MU or the pickaxe icon. I think that is a pickaxe icon, right. Right, so I can then say dig a nice, let's dig a one thing channel for now. Let's just unpause and check that behaves like I expect it to. Right, there we go. We now have dug down into the earth. And there is a slope there, and then I can go, right, let's just dig out dig us a little tunnel there, and then a largish underground room that we can then make a stockpile to haul all of our stuff into, and we can make a door and close it off from the outside world. Yes, that will do as an initial thing. Right, so my miner sets to work. We have quite deep soil here, so it'll probably be a while before we find any rock anyway. So that's no, it's not greater than, it's E now to go upwards. Let's also get ourselves some wood. Let me guess where one of these is going to be. So tree chopping orders. We only have one kind of tree chopping order. All right, so we have two different ways of marking things, but that's fine. We just want an ordinary tree chopping order, get ourselves a small amount of wood by cutting down some of the nearby trees, because we're not going to get stone for a while, because I think this area had deep soil. So let's set someone working on that as well. Oops, no, that's not how you go down either. So there we find a small amount of logs. Which we will use. Okay, we have a message saying there is nothing to catch in the central swamps. Why were you fishing? I thought you weren't meant to be fishing. That zooms me to the right place. Okay, good. Oops, I've accidentally opened that. Let's unopen that and go back. Oops, noise of Ben pressing the wrong buttons. Right, all the keys are different, and this is going to confuse me for quite some time. Rather curiously, elevation 0 is at treetop height. Makes me worry what kind of sea we're in. Oh yes, observe the cute waves washing up on the shore and spraying spray everywhere. Right, so I think we should build ourselves a carpenter's workshop, because that's usually something you want to do. Workshops. And then here's our list of possible workshops. One of them is carpenter, because we're going to need beds and we're going to need at least a front door.
Just that memorised that phrase from Seth there, and in the first 6 lines I get sensationalism, licentiousness.
So that will cause it to automatically pick some wood, something it can build the carpenter's workshop out of. How do I tell whether I'm paused or not? Up in that corner there, there's a thing that goes blue that says blue greater than sign when we're unpaused and red paused sign when we're paused. Right. So our carpenter is now building a carpenter's workshop because I made some wood. Right, so now I can just click on the carpenter's workshop and I get a set of things to do. Excellent. Right. Yes, I can kind of see why it needs a rather larger number of rows and columns on the UI than the old one, because it's a much less dense interface, which may be for the best.
Yes, it would get cramped, wouldn't it?
So now my carpenter is probably, if I click on this, my carpenter is making a bed.
They don't have to lie in it.
Yeah, well, someone will. So we have options for the usual kinds of things that you can do, including center me on the building that's doing this. Right, that all seems sensible. There's our carpenter bringing in some wood to convert into a bed. Oh, I should make a door as well, shouldn't I? Add new task. Make a wooden door. Amusing to observe, of course, that make enormous wooden corkscrew is considered a much more likely thing for you to want to do than make a door. Oh, that didn't pause while I was doing that. That's interesting. Right, now we have a large flat area in here. let us make an stockpile. How do stockpiles work in this version then? Let us start with an everything stockpile. Oh, no, we don't really want everything. Okay, I don't seem to have... How do I make a stockpile that's of some things? Let me find... That's going to be the next thing they suggest doing anyway. Click Custom to change the goods the stockpile accepts. Enable everything but corpses, refuse, stone, gems and wood. Okay, that seems like a sensible way to start. Which is the Custom button. Oh, that one, right, yes. Yeah. Okay, there's the user interface. So no stone, no gems, no wood, basically because they take up far too much space. Oh, I can still scroll the map through the Z levels while I don't want to click on any of those. Does pressing escape now leave that in the right state then? Looks like it, yes. Good. Did that do what I wanted then? Right, looks like we have a stockpile. Probably now the dwarves will start bringing things into it. Yes, right, good. Oh look, there's a bed. Right, let us construct that bed somewhere. Right, we only have one bed at the moment. Yes, we are. One of the things, the kinds of things I'm trying to avoid is stockpiling packing peanuts. Right, so now there is somewhere for at least one dwarf to sleep. How do you choose furniture? What key is that? BFB is construct bed. Right, and you can actually say specify which bed you want to construct in the same way that you can specify what wood to construct your workshop out of if you feel like it. All right, and that shows me what that the workshop is made out of. Is made out of maple and is processing some maple logs, I think. That means... Oh yes, of course, I get little messages up there, don't I? This item is a permanent part of the building. So yes, there's maple that's a permanent part of the building. View this item's sheet. This is a maple. Well, it's a piece of maple. And yes, has been used to build that building. Right. We should probably also declare a meeting area or something, shouldn't we? So the tutorial suggests making a downward staircase and then putting your meeting area off that. We know what as we can see from here, it's loam at this level as well, isn't it? So I tend to like making 2x2 staircases. We probably want it not to be too close to the entrance so that we can keep the goblins out. Well, I think I'll put it at the back here. So let's see. Can I say mining staircase? Must span multiple elevations. Oh, a new way to do staircases. Okay. So if we do that, right, that makes it an up staircase from down there, an up and down there, and a down here. Right, that seems sensible and a lot less faffy than the... Actually, no. No, don't do that. Right, how do you cancel designations then? Remove, right. Because I want to have this behind, I want to be able to put doors between the main room and the staircase, which obviously requires putting them a little bit further back. So choose hallway, those two squares, and then stairwell there. Right, that's better. And no, I don't want to draw more of that. 2 more doors, please. Right. I think all the dwarves are just reasonably happy at the moment. Like, we know this creature is pleased right now. I can try to get more information on the dwarves. Leave this menu and view this creature's sheet. Okay, here is our miner's sheet. 60 years old, female, values merriment, high stamina, good with language. Healthy, no official position. Talented miner. Unmet need, drink alcohol, eat good meal, argue, craft object, and pray. But is satisfied by virtue of working, mostly, and getting better at mining, which involves quite a lot of working. Has a close friend in the expedition leader. Or camera icon. So yes, we can ask about their mental states, but most of them seem pretty reasonable. So now, at this level, let's mine out a corridor there and then a decent sized room So we're in loam here. We're finding silty clay at the next level down. So we can install some more beds. Oops. So that people have somewhere to sleep if they feel like it. We could probably usefully set up a small wood stockpile next to the
Next to sleep. I was thinking that.
no. And that will cause other dwarves to bring the wood down to next to the Okay, it is rather alarming the way that the game now doesn't pause while you're doing things, unless you actively pause it. It's a lot more like CK2 in that respect. Right, meanwhile, oh no, we haven't quite finished digging that out. Right, we do seem to end up having to go quite a long way through the interface to actually put any beds down. It's all gone quiet. No, I mean on screen. Right, looks like we now have some doors. Okay, not BFD. Our doors are not furniture, or not treated as furniture for this purpose. P, obviously P is the choose. BPR is build door. Okay. Right, we still need to make another door. Right, so now we have somewhere down here that can be our meeting area. Okay, I think that's... Right, bedrooms are now a kind of zone. That's reasonable. So now everyone should start meeting down here rather than clustering on the surface. We hope. Well, the cats have got there at least. Dear, we have flies already. Right, so now everyone is gathering in the meeting room, meeting hall. We have we've for some reason only got 5 beds, probably because I can't count, but that's probably enough for now. And we should think about like establishing some actual bedrooms. But I'm going to look at the right. They suggest creating a stockpile for refuse, at least 5 by 5 inside, outside the entrance. And we probably want to start farming plump helmets fairly soon. Just looking at the instructions and saying, is there anything else I need to pay attention to? So I think we think of this layer as being the like food and drink and gathering layer. Though I'm wondering how we sensibly get water. One way might be to find gems. Only rose quartz, mind. One way might be to find. But you've got hematite near the surface. Wow. Yes, it looks like in that direction things get quite rocky fairly quickly. Yeah, I suppose we do have. Yeah, the coast was all shale, wasn't it? So there is actually rock coming to the surface at the coast. So we can probably do some careful mining close to the coast. Obviously careful because we don't want to let the sea in. There's bauxite, which is of no use to dwarves because we don't have electrolysis. Right, so we should establish some farms somewhere down like here, shouldn't we? So that we can start growing plump helmets. And let's do what I would usually do and build more doors. No, that's not right. I don't want to build a farm there. Is there like an option for I want to do this same job 5 times? Only indefinitely, which is like a dangerous thing to ask any dwarf to do. I mean, there's probably a way to say, please do me 5 of them. We can't do it without a manager. Well, I should probably organise things like managers in a bit. Not too much for faff to order a bunch of doors, though. And then we should start thinking about, like, having... That's enough. Having enough space to actually have everyone have a bedroom, but they prefer to have bedrooms in rock. I don't know that we need more beds right now. Let's get some doors first, so that I can put doors between the farm and the meeting area, and then we can start to... Thing is, of course, we don't really want most of our stuff to be in loam, because dwarves aren't very happy in loam. Dwarves would much rather be somewhere over in the interesting minerals. here. But we have to be a bit careful if we're heading that way, not to like end up in the sea. People keep naming birds, or have been naming birds. Do we have any? What do we have by way of wildlife? Have any wildlife turned up recently? We have a great horned owl and a kestrel. Allegedly somewhere. Great horned owl. That little O there is an owl. It is 6 years old, female, healthy, didn't feel anything while in conflict, and has no official position.
What would the personality tab say?
No, we do have a complete personality for this owl,
Little natural inclination toward music.
apparently.
Doesn't mind being outdoors, at least for a time.
She does not have any skills except she's a legendary climber. So yes, we do have some wildlife, but no ptarmigans or petrels or penguins. I've lost my fortress. F1 dumps me back at the entrance. Yes, that'll do. Right, so now can we... We don't need construction materials, so how do you make a farm in the new thing? BOFP. Okay, it does actually require... building, even though this is a kind of workshop apparently. Farming, that's new. I'm fairly sure we didn't have vermin catchers shops before. Farm plot. Okay, I've accidentally made a 1x1 farm plot. That's not going to help me. Cancel construction. Try that again. This required dragging it out. No. Okay, let's read the instructions. Now that just tells me do it, right? Click a tile to be a corner of the farm plot. Click a tile to place the farm plot. Right, that's better. Making it slightly smaller than everything. Once the plot is built, click on it and set it to grow plump helmets during all seasons. Can we now build some doors as well? Not quite. So I think we probably want to actually have more of our fortress closer to the coast. So if we're going to put in, oops, no, not that button. If we're going to put in like bedrooms and such, they might be better made from dug out of stone rather than soil, and we do have stone available over there. Everyone is now planting plump helmet seeds. Yeah, that'll be fine for now. Have we made a door yet? Yes, right, good. So that suggests that we probably want to like dig a long tunnel over to wherever there's rock. The rock starts a bit sooner than there, doesn't it? It's like, hang on. No, that's the wrong button. Up. The rock will probably start where we see shale on the surface. So let's try. No, we could. All the keys are different. Probably make it a narrow tunnel to start with, and then we can make it wider once we see what's over there. Probably also, actually that river might be easier to get at, mightn't it? Kind of going, I built my fortress too far to the west, and we should have built it in this sort of area. Oh well. Let's extend our fortress that way, and we may abandon the bit we've already built. I keep wanting to be able to bounce my cursor off the edge of the screen in order to scroll, but of course that's not how this one works. Oh yes, following our usual procedure, we should presumably be able to demolish the wagon, which will get us 2 units of goblin cap? Several units of goblin cap. So more mining going on. Oh, I think I've worked out what this bit is. I think these are how happy your dwarves are. Let's see if that looks correct. So this is our dwarf happiness scale, and we have 2 dwarves at content there, and 5 dwarves who are now pleased, which is nice. Sea otters! Sadly, Verity is not here to...
Sea otters, one of which is on a blue background and that one in the water.
Possibly, yes. Great affinity for language. So we can follow the otter and watch it swimming around. Is that... All right, yes, there's a bunch of anchovies there in the sea. Where is our otter? There is our otter. I think the blue thing, yes, means swimming. I'm used to it meaning drowning for a dwarf, but it probably doesn't mean drowning for an otter. So yes, there's a bunch of sea otters swimming around over here, and we can see them moving around. We're following one of them. And there's a bunch of anchovies over there. That's not a sea otter. Yes. But we have sea otters here. Anyway, if I press escape, does that... No, that doesn't. How do I stop following this otter? Ah, I see. No, following sea otter. Probably actually if I move the map, yes. If I move the map around. Ooh, different fish. Salmon. See, maybe I should have let my fisher dwarf do some fishing.
How do I stop following this otter? Hashtag Dwarf Fortress social media problems.
Yes. Right, so here, oh, now it's got into sand. So we haven't found any rock over here yet. Oh, and at this level we have to be a bit careful because there are trees. I think that's actually fine. Let's wall off the bit of the tunnel that looks in danger of running into tree roots. Because I've seen we're now in nose tools. I think it was we had problems with trees punching holes in the ceiling and letting the zombies in. So presumably somewhere here we can say build construction wall. Use whatever you can build to build a wall with. And then we can start digging northwards from there. And that should get us into the rock. Right, so we're now growing some plump helmets, which will provide us with food. What's that? That's just a message telling us there is nothing to catch in the central swamps. You have struck tiger eye, yes. Okay, how do we get those messages to say, yes, I know that? So our miner, you can see, has slowed down rather, because they're now digging through stone. So this is gypsum. What have we got? We've got some hematite around. Next level down we have kaolinite. We have like limonite and shale down there. So there's no... Like, I know that dwarves in earlier games like flux stones if they can, for preference to others, but there doesn't seem to be much. I don't recognise marcasite. Doesn't seem to be much by way of flux stones around. So I think we may as well, but they'll definitely prefer stone walls in their bedrooms to sand or soil ones. So one kind of approach, rather that I can't remember where I saw it, but an approach to doing bedrooms that I saw was to have stairs going into them rather than doors. So essentially put them all on a different floor from the connecting corridors, which saves you the need to construct an awful lot of doors. It means that all you need for a bedroom is a bed, which seems like a good plan to me. So I think I might...
I think a room also helps.
Well, yes, but the nice thing about a room is you can make it with just a miner. You don't need any materials to make a room. So let's try, in this rocky area here, digging out on the next level down a bunch of bedrooms connected upwards. Actually, we could have a dining room on this level and then the bedrooms all on accessed by stairs downwards from the dining room. That's an entertaining design that I've never tried before. So let's mine out that area with the idea of it becoming a dining room. Oh, some of my dwarves are even happier. Some of my dwarves are at happy. That's alarming. So most of the work is currently being done by my... We're now getting some gems, so let's get some gem cutters and we could decorate some of these beds. So we want to build a workshop, jeweler's workshop, and create next to it a new stockpile, which will be a gem stockpile. Actually, yes, I think that's fine. Right. So now a bunch of dwarves have gone off to fetch some gems. And presumably I can now schedule some cut gems jobs. Steph asks, does DF have erosion or sea monsters? Erosion, yes, but only on geological timescales. So we should be fine within the timescale of the life of this fort, but the mechanism by which the world's topography was generated certainly involved some erosion. But the coastline should be stable. Sea monsters, probably. I think there are kraken. There are certainly orcas and whales of various sorts. But
I've forgotten beasts ever aquatic.
I don't know of any, but like you probably, the thing is that as long as you can keep the sea more or less out of your fortress, it's not much of a problem. So like, as far as I know, that one thick rock wall between us and the sea will be quite adequate, even though it's made of gypsum. Otter. We're going to have to send out some hunters so we can make things out of otter leather, aren't we? Right, let's make some... So we've now got a small amount of stone available. It is admittedly gypsum. Oh no, we wanted to add a cut gems. So I think... Right, so unlike in older dwarf fortresses, we don't actually have to specify what kind of gem to cut. We can just specify a repeating gem cutting job and let it get on with it, which is nice. Yes, of course you want to be able to encrust ammo with cut gems. How are you going to keep your Mark's dwarves happy if they can't shoot with gem-encrusted crossbow bolts? So there is still a bit of sand around there, which is a bit unfortunate, but maybe we can pave over it in due course. Right, so now there are some marquise cut tiger eyes in here. So now I could add another task to encrust furniture with cut gems. If we alternate those, no, that's not what I want. Problem is, what I want to say is encrust beds with gems. But I don't seem to get that option. So there's a slight... Actually, all the beds are currently constructed, aren't they? We should deconstruct a couple of beds so that they can be encrusted. And probably make a couple more beds, come to think of it. Though we could probably start doing some stone cutting, stoneworking soon. And then we can start making beds out of stone rather than wood. mine out that square as well. Oh, there appears to be a bed in the workshop, so possibly we are going to end up with a bed encrusted with gems. Excellent. Ooh, a different kind of wood has arrived. Ah, the goblin cap from the wagon, yes. Okay, right, they're also encrusting barrels. Let them get on with it, I don't mind. I'm sure we'll find more gems as we mine out the bedrooms, which we will start doing in a moment. Right, so I think then what I want to do is to go bunch of my traditional 3x3 bedrooms. Obviously we're going to need 7 of them in total. It's probably going to set the size of our dining hall, isn't it? It's going to be an enormous dining hall. We actually, down there we're into sand. Let's not do those ones. That's 7. Now, of course, we're going to... No, that's the wrong button. We're going to want then to designate... Oh, that was removing. That's not the right one. Stairwells. Obviously, those ones are going to need some more work to get to them. Yeah, you blanked out the staircases. That's not helpful. Right. Let's build a mason's workshop as well. So I dig out some more space up here in the easy, soft sand. Obviously, my miner's now going to do it in the wrong place. Let's build that mason's workshop anyway. Mason's workshop, the workshops. Stoneworker makes stone furniture here. Right, yeah, that's what was previously known as a mason's workshop. Use whatever material. I think dwarves like waterfalls. I reckon they're going to like waves crashing against their bedroom walls as well. Okay, the meat is starting to run low apparently, but that's not a serious problem. actually, let's. No, have we got? Has that been made yet? Yes, right. Let's make some stone tables and chairs for a dining room. Oh, another set. And let's install a small stone stockpile here. Which, yes, should allow a wheelbarrow, useful wheelbarrow. Let's also remove wheelbarrows from some of the other stockpiles. Because, yeah, okay, that's sensible. Because we want any wheelbarrows we've got. I'm not quite sure whether we have any wheelbarrows used for have I got any doors spare? No. Got enough of that to make a stone door for our dining room. Right, so we're now enlarging the cheap, easy to dig soil here. Weird that the arrow keys don't do anything. What's all that lot? Herring! Herring, herring, herring. Jutton, does DF have tides? Checks. Bay 12 forum says there are no tides because dwarves mined out the moon.
I mean, I presume even in Dwarf Fortress it'd be hard to reach the moon.
Yes, I think because there is no moon.
Oh, well, in that case, that's a better excuse for not having tides.
Yes. Right. So there is a room that will become a bedroom. Let us put one of the shinier beds into it.
Those seem like distressingly sensible things to make beds out of.
Well,
I guess we gravitate to toxic ore beds and radioactive beds later.
curiously, beds can, for the most part, only be made out of wood. This is rather different from the Dwemer in Skyrim, who definitely make their beds out of stone. Right, we've now found some carnelian as well. So I get the impression that that bedrooms work a bit differently now. As in, we don't have an option here to turn that bed into a bedroom. Now I think bedrooms and zones are now rather more similar. So in particular, your citizens will sleep in bedrooms. Try to include a bed. So yes, if we close that, we'll get more useful things. It should include a bed. Try to enclose it with walls and or doors. Do not overlap with other rooms. So, well, let's wait for more of the beds to be installed first. That's all of our decorated beds installed. Well, we'll put in some undecorated beds then. Or all of our decorated beds designated. So I'll just wait for that last bed to be brought in, and then I will try designating this area as a bedroom and see what happens. So if we go can I just designate all of that area? So that I think that's made it multiple bedrooms. What happens if I choose multi? Four bedrooms created. So that's a kind of right, and then yes, we have multiple bedrooms, and indeed, of course, we'll notice that they haven't formed that don't fill that full rectangle I created. Right, that seems to have worked then. And presumably our dwarves will allocate themselves bedrooms as they actually want to sleep in them. Normally I would then start smoothing them. So do we have smoothing designations available? There, yes. We have a smooth operation, engrave, tracks. Do not try carving arrow slots on the seaward side of the bedrooms. So have I just selected that? I think so.
Don't watch them with subtitles, then all you get is the emotion in the voice and people gesturing. And I thought, we know others that TV shows like that. And the next thing I knew, my brain invented the phrase shadow booty.
Right, so the dwarves are now smoothing the walls of these new bedrooms. There's a dwarf sleeping in one of the new beds. Excellent. Yes, she is technically unconscious, otherwise known as asleep. Blissful after sleeping in a good bedroom. So presumably that means she now has a bedroom, which is admittedly meagre quarters, but I think for her current state of, like, everything, meagre is quite acceptable.
We've just arrived in a place that previously had no bedrooms at all. This one's good compared to that.
Yes.
It's like a very small flat.
might well be a very small frog, yes. I think we have a plague of frog.
We have a plague of frog. Oh, it is called a frog, yeah.
Yep, definitely a frog.
It's been landed from somewhere.
Like that, yes.
Yeah, now that's going to be quite hard to get with the thing because it's currently under a thing. Frog. We have a frog. Come on, frog. Right.
Here, frog.
Under a
There, frog.
It's currently there, frog. That's the thing. That's the thing.
Gareth is evicting a frog. Hello, frog.
Little
Little frog.
frog.
By the table.
No. Come on, frog.
Bye-bye, frog.
I should take a photo of the very small frog. It's very small.
Anyway, so our miner is asleep, which is kind of fitting because she's probably quite tired. Having been doing all this mining. Meanwhile, 2 rooms away, a bunch of dwarves are smoothing everything. Which is like probably helping a bit.
Right then, come on, frog. You can go in the front garden. There'll be a frog.
We are jettisoning the frog. Meanwhile, we've probably got some chairs and tables now, haven't we? No, we don't want traps. When I said T, I meant table, not trap. BF, possibly T. We can't build it on. We can't build tables on the staircases, but that's fine. There's plenty of places that aren't staircases. Well, let's use that convenient decorated shale table. A chair, which is R, okay. There are no decorated shale thrones yet. Then let's build a door, door, there. Oh, we still haven't actually made any doors. Did I not schedule some door making tasks? Oh yes, but it's after all the tables, right. Yeah, that's not the right place for a table. Should go there. All right, we haven't made enough chairs for that anyway. And then we can establish an official dining room. An owl? No, that's an otter running across the land. Otter. I mean, dwarves like mist, so if we could actually get them, if we could actually get them to encounter the edge of the sea, they'd probably be quite happy. The difficulty is getting them there without them being exposed to like goblins and such. Jacob wonders what the otter is running from. Let's see. Well, there are some giant thripses. Thrips. Thrip. Ooh, wrong button.
Giant thrips is one of those. I mean, they start off very small. Giant could mean.
Like about an inch across.
Right, that would be perfectly good
Yes. It used to be that there was like a one-line description of kinds of creature, wasn't there? I can't find it. We've accidentally ended up in a weird place on the map. There. Oh, we have cherry blossom in the trees.
Quick, build a market square.
Yes. We'll do that soon.
You always clearly was confused by having spaghetti in her head.
Willows as well, especially around the ponds. Oops. Right, I think the miner may have woken up now. People are also busy installing furniture in the dining room. I'm informed that the correct plural of thrips is thrips. Let's see if we can thus designate a dining room. Don't show me that message again for now. All right, it's unwilling for me to do that, to mark that area as a dining room because it doesn't have a door. I can probably do it by other means, but let's wait until we've got a door and do it the easy way. Yes, it is 11:15, so I'll probably stop this once we have a bit more organisation organised. All right, we have a problem that our grazing animals are all starving. Let's fix that.
They've forgotten how to graze.
Yes. We need to allocate a pasture. And like that will probably cause them to get killed by goblins, but whatever. And just stick all... Why is that turkey's description not in its box of the obvious grazing animals? In that pasture. Oh, you can't unpause while in that screen. So some things cause the game to pause, but not all of them. Different sets of things from before. It used to be that there were like two menus you could open that the game would not pause while you had them open. And that was really confusing. Now it looks like most things don't pause the game. Right, the animals are being led, but for instance that pauses the game. At least some animals, so I think some animals are actually spontaneously going to that pasture. Others are being led there. They will presumably now stop starving. Presumably if we go to livestock, we can find out. We don't get a happiness indication for them. But we can see hungry there for the stray donkey foal, and is thus irritated. We don't seem to have an overall happiness rating for animals.
I'm glad you're happy.
I'm happy you're glad. Right, so the last few bedrooms are almost dug out. Let us finish. Okay, we don't, oh yes, well we need to deconstruct the remaining beds from over here, don't we? Right. Then we can install those beds. No, smooth. Doesn't seem to show me the things that are designated for smoothing, which is a bit confusing. I think I've successfully designated those. It's still a make a rock door task pending there, which is something I think is required before we have a proper dining room.
Good night.
Right. All right, looks like we've got that door. No. Or is it currently being shipped from a workshop to somewhere else? I wonder what I can do with driftwood. I feel I should be able to use that as a source of wood without actually needing to cut down trees. Just an ask, do I need to set up brewing at some point? Yes, I think the next task is going to be to sort out our food supply properly. Like, we've still got an adequacy of drink at the moment. I'm not worried. But we're going to want water and beer. Okay, what happened to my maker? There's a shale door there. Why can I not turn that? Let's do my usual thing of forbidding it and then unforbidding it. Right. I think that changed something. And now it's available. Right, good. It used to be that only stone workers would smooth stone, but it looks like now pretty much anyone will do it. Which may not be so good because they won't get so good at it. We might also want to like pave some of these sections that are currently bare loam in the bedrooms. Yes, as Jacob says, pave the earth. Right. So now we can three more bedrooms created. Excellent. Just wondering if there's like a show me all of the rooms information. Right, so there we can at least see the bedrooms and the fact that currently only one bedroom is actually in use. It's not a very distinct colour from all the others. And I'm slightly worried that the bedrooms may officially overlap in their walls, and maybe we should have left gaps between them. Is that door now erected? Looks like it. So now maybe I can go establish a dining hall in that area. Right, yes, there we go. Dining hall created. Not a very good name, but it's a name. Huh. What happened to my task to... Oh, right. So it looks like while we have... Ah, right. Well, we were able to make furniture out of shale. It's unwilling for us to make furniture out of gypsum because that's technically a economic rock. Okay, I'll call the dining hall clashing spoons. Yes, gypsum is pretty soft as well, so maybe we don't actually want to pave everything with it. Right, there we go. And we have got more shale around. Apparently kaolinite is also officially... We do seem to have a bit of a thing of squishy rocks around here, don't we? Where shale is the most solid thing you have available. Actually, we've got limonite at 1Z level down. And hematite, and I'm sure lining our dining hall with cinnabar will be fine. But we do now have a dining room. That's nice. We have a bit of a shortage of non-economic rock. Wonder if I can find... All right, right click to dismiss all those messages because they're boring. Excellent. We should undesignate the meeting area there. No, I don't mean the bedrooms. So do people now meet? Will people now meet in the dining hall because there isn't a meeting zone? Or do I need to paint a meeting zone on top of the dining hall? Meanwhile, we should smooth that as well. Can I... Oh, there's some kind of blueprint system, which is very sweet and involves white on blue things. It's probably somewhere under the jobby bit, isn't it? Labours. Smoothing is currently set to everyone does this. Yes, let us instead get... let's say our stone... I kind of want the mason to do it because they're a novice already, but no, let's just have a couple of people who do smoothing so they can get good at it. And designate basically the whole of the dining hall for smoothing. And that should make that a nicer place to be. Did I find something to allow me to ask about rooms? It was in the place information, wasn't it? So that gives us information about clashing spoons, but it doesn't tell us what level of dining hall it is, which is kind of sad. And maybe that indicates it. But no, the bedrooms we got how good a bedroom a bedroom is by choosing the owner of it. So if we choose our miner who owns a bedroom, everyone is smoothing. I thought said you didn't all need to smooth. Then there we got told it was modest quarters. See, they're better than meagre already. So, yes, it used to be that you could find out that a particular table was part of was like the origin of a dining hall of a particular quality, though. Sorry, I've just noticed the button to allow you to have the camera track the table. All right, that's just the item view. That's not very interesting, is it? So yes, I don't know quite how the quality of rooms is now found out, other than by looking through its owner. Yeah, so why is everyone smoothing still? They shouldn't be. Maybe they'll stop in a bit. Once they've each smoothed one square. Because possibly they started doing that while it was still an available option, as it were. They don't seem to be all abandoning the job and going off to do something else. But that is set to only... Sorry, that's not the right one. Smoothing. And that is surely smoothing and engraving. There's something where I can find out what... So it looks like I can add new work details that are like in some way custom. Okay, how do I remove a work detail then, eh? Let's just mark it as nobody does this. Right, and that's how you work out... Right, I understand, yes. So... Apart from how do you delete it, there's a red box there, maybe that does it. Yes. So this one consists of stone engraving, which surely must include both smoothing and actual engraving. So now I'm wondering what stone cutting is in that case. Let's just try making stone cutting all... But maybe those are two separate skills now. Anyway, I was going to sort out... Oh, it's 7 minutes past midnight. I was going to sort out... food handling in this place, but I think actually I should declare that we have reached a sensible point to stop. No one seems to have died. We haven't yet run out of booze. We don't have a water source yet, but most of our dwarves, all of our dwarves are now better than content, which is nice. We're slowly running out of meat, but we'll subsist on mushrooms if we have to. Currently all of the wildlife is giant thrips. I'm slightly worried by the idea of giant thrips with an inclination towards music. And then, yes, later we can try to sort out our food and drink sources and generally make things a bit more organised. Seb asks, how giant are these thrips? I don't know. I haven't managed to find a way to ask through the user interface. I'm sure the wiki will tell you. Groups, military, thoughts, personality. Overview doesn't have a weight. Items, health. There's the description, that she is a huge monster in the form of a thrips. She is very slow to tire, but she is slow to heal. Her chitin is brown, her eyes are black. Yes, Justin has provided a link which will probably be helpful. Right, so yes, the new Dwarf Fortress has a radically different user interface from the old one, but underneath it all is like about 90% the same game as I'm used to. Thank you, Justin, for providing the size of a giant thrips in cubic centimetres. But at a density of roughly that of water, that means that a giant thrips is like 200 kilos. So, yes, they're quite giant. They're like person-sized. You probably don't want to get into a fight with one. So yes, I think that will be all for the day. I will try to work out how I save, and we will come back next time, I expect, and enhance our fortress somewhat. Try to understand how this works. Save and return to title menu. That's probably the button I want, isn't it? Save to this timeline. Save to a new timeline. Save to a new folder with the existing timeline. No, save to this timeline. Saving. Heave. We can save the world, really. Something like that. Right, and that is it. And we will see you probably next Friday, and where I might have a slightly clearer idea what I'm up to. And until then, where on earth has my streaming window gone? There it is. Until then, good night.